And we're live for another live stream with Kubefirst. Super excited to be here on this Thursday. It's 3 p.m. where I live in Montreal, Canada. A little bit snowy, actually not at all. Just a couple of snowflakes coming in, but it's the winter. And hey, my name is Frederick Harper, Fred. I'm a principal developer advocate at Kubefirst, and I am with John. John, who is one of the founder of Kubefirst too. And I just decided this week that I'm gonna introduce John myself, so he's not gonna steal the mic and talk for like 30 minutes on things that I should talk in that live stream. So this is John, who is with me
I may
this
still
week.
interrupt, Fred, but it's good to be here, buddy. Thank you.
And as you may have noticed, if you've been with us previously, Jared is not with us this week. He's working so hard on releasing the next version of Kubefirst, the V2. It's coming up in just a couple of days. It's coming like that's gonna be there really, really, really soon. We're on the latest mile on working on that version. So Jared is working hard on it. Not that we're not, but we have the live stream. It's important also to be here. The only thing that is maybe a little bit sad is that Jared used to do the demo, and he's so much better than John in doing that. So today we're going to be stuck with John, but it's better than no demo, huh?
It's better than nothing. Better than
So joke aside, today's topics a little bit related to the live stream that we did around HashiCorp Vault. We also published a blog post recently about managing secrets, and we're going to continue in that vein, and we're going to talk about GitOps and secrets disaster recovery, which is, let's say, it's the kind of thing that is not important until you really need it. So it should always be important. So we're going to talk about this today. But before we jump into the main topic of the live stream, if it's the first time that you're joining us today, first, thank you. Really happy to have you here. Click the like button on our YouTube channel so you're going to be notified when subscribe actually to your YouTube channel. I'm mixing all social media. There's too many of them, but subscribe to your YouTube channel so you're going to be notified next time we have a live stream or once we're going to publicly release also other videos or video tutorials or things around Kubefirst platform, but also, as you've seen, unless it's the first time you join us in the previous live stream, we like to talk about cloud native. So it's not just about content about Kubefirst. It's really sharing your passion about the cloud, sharing your passion about Kubernetes, sharing your passion about mostly everything and anything CNCF and open source. So join us on YouTube, subscribe there. And again, if it's your first time with us, let me give a quick introduction about Kubefirst. So what is Kubefirst? Except the fact that we have a really nice name that is, let's say, kind of like close to Kubernetes. It's, what we're doing is basically when we talk to people that want to deploy on the cloud and they want to use Kubernetes, one of the things I heard the most is that Kubernetes is not so easy. And let me take a step back. I mean, like deploying a cluster in Kubernetes, it may not be that complex, but it's everything after that is not so easy because you need to have things working together. You need to be able to deploy easily your application and have like everything you need to have a working production environment. So what we do at Kubefirst, we tackle the complexity so it's easy for you to deploy on Kubefirst. And how we do that? We have an instant GitOps platform. It's open source, it's free, it helps you to deploy on Kubernetes, your cluster on Kubernetes really fast and easily. And how we do that, we deploy for you the tools you need, or the tools we think you need. But so far, I think we're pretty spot on with those tools. And those tools are, cloud native, they work together immediately, and they are open source. So it's everything, all beautiful, working together to have you production-ready clusters. And the beauty of it is that right now, or actually, I'm saying right now because we're right in the middle working on a V2, but like really, really soon, you're going to have even more platforms. So you're going to be able to use Kubefirst to deploy your cluster on AWS using GitHub, on AWS using GitLab, but GitLab SaaS. So we used to support the self-hosted or self-managed GitLab Git provider, but now we're going to support GitLab SaaS, and you're going to be able to do the same with GitHub and GitLab SaaS using Civo, which is the big integration coming with V2. We talked a little bit about this before. It's really coming. It's coming in the next couple of days. And if you don't want to spin off on AWS or Civo, you just want to try Kubefirst, or you want to do any test at home, we have also what we used to call the local installation. Now we rename it to Key3D because this is a technology we use behind it, but it's the same nice local deployment using Docker Desktop and Key3D that you like, and that is working well for you. So you can try the tool yourself. So if I come back to Kubefirst, we respect GitOps principles. You have the GitOps repo, and this is what power the entire platform. But you may ask, like, okay, Fred, you install tools for me, you make things work together, but like, I have my own stuff to do, I have my own stuff to deploy. And this is the beauty of it. Because you have the GitOps repo, we basically kickstart your cluster for you. But after that, it's your home. Do whatever you want with that repo. Do whatever you want with your cluster. We just set the things, we set the foundation for you to be successful, but in a way that you can do with going on a command line, giving 1 or 2 comments, and you're good to go. You're firing up the cylinder, and it's working right out of the, I don't even know how to end that sentence, looking for the word in English, but you understand what I mean. So on that note, enough introduction about Kubefirst. If you want to know more about Kubefirst, or even if you want to try it, you can go on the website, kubefirst.io. You can also go on GitHub. So as I said, it's open source. We're on GitHub. You go on github.com/kubefirst/kubefirst because, yeah, the name of our product is the name of our organization. And if you want to read more about all the features that we're offering and how you can hold this work together, there's nothing better than a documentation. And please, 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 developer in the room, don't tell me you hate documentation. That is super useful. I'm not asking you to write docs. I'm asking you to read docs to understand everything you can do with Kubefirst. So with that said, I'm giving the mic to John, who's going to explain to you a little bit, hey, what's the demo flow today? What are we going to talk about? Or actually, what's mostly John's going to talk about in demo today when it comes to disaster recovery?
Yeah, thanks so much, Fred. So today, I'm real excited to show a few of the components of the Kubefirst platform that are a little tougher to get to in overview videos. We're going to go a little bit deeper today on some of the configurations that we've set up to establish disaster recovery for applications and for secrets in a GitOps-oriented platform. So we're going to start out, just so that you know what you're getting yourself into, we're going to start out diving into a brand new Kubefirst 1.11 platform in AWS. We're going to check out what an application desired state looks like and how defining that application desired state in GitOps provides that right out of the box Argo CD oriented disaster recovery posture for your applications. But with our particular opinion set of leveraging HashiCorp Vault for secrets in your GitOps oriented system, that removes the secrets piece from your Git repositories. So it doesn't take the same advantage of GitOps that your applications do. So how does disaster recovery work for your secrets? We're going to walk through external secrets operator to show how we've protected the application from things like Vault being down. We're going to show a neat little tool called Stakeator Reloader. Reloader is a neat little operator that runs in cluster and watches annotations. And whenever a secret that your application's watching changes, then it will do a rolling restart of your application. Then we're going to get into HashiCorp Vault, and we're going to emulate a couple. We're not even going to emulate. We're going to actually perform some destructive activities in Vault and show the behavior of that. We're going to get into last known good scenarios with Vault so that your applications can stay up even when your secrets are down. And we're going to get into point-in-time recovery for bigger disaster recovery scenarios. So a lot of cool stuff to get into. And I think we're pretty much ready to dive right in at this point, Fred. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, that's a scary demo, like tearing things down. I mean, like that's good. That's good because this is what we want to show, and we're gonna demo the part with like secrets and also HashiCorp Vault. But I'm gonna share a link a little bit later about an article that we recently just published that explain also a little more about like why we did that and how we did it and what's the reasons. So if you want more information about that, I'll share the link in an instant.
All right, so let's break some stuff today. This will be fun. This screen right here is the old console screen. It's currently our production version. We have a new version of this that's coming out in our 2.0 that we're going to release hopefully later in the week. But
and they're really sexy. Or like, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's not bad, but like the new version is even nicer, which makes me want to use Kubefirst even more. I know it's cheesy, our word for Kubefirst, but I'm just like, I like the new console. Good job on the team, Dona and Christian, who work on that console.
Yeah,
you did a really good job.
For sure. So let's look at desired state together. So this is a GitOps repository. When you do a Kubefirst install, basically we pull this template repo down, we hydrate it with the opinions that you give us during the create process, and then we give the GitOps repository right back to you. So this GitOps repository is representative of the GitOps repository that you would receive by conducting a Kubefirst install. And it has everything in it. It has all of your infrastructure as code. It has all of your GitOps configurations. It even has a sample application that we have on the platform that delivers to development staging production namespace, shows how GitOps workflows work, et cetera, et cetera. So this GitOps repository, you can easily recreate on your own just by running a Kubefirst install. This entire environment, everything that you're looking at here, I created it yesterday. There's no like special bells and whistles. I did add Stakeator Reloader to this stack because it's a 1.11 stack. Starting with 2.0, which we're releasing this or next week, Stakeator Reloader is going to be a part of the platform. We're really excited about it. It's super lightweight, super impactful to a GitOps ecosystem. We'll take a look at that also. But let's dive into our components. Let's go ahead and look at production. So the way GitOps works is you just have to define some applications in a repository that define what you want delivered to your cluster. And you register that Git repository with the cluster in a technically somewhat complex way. But once you know all the rules, it's basically copy paste. You basically have to establish this concept of an app of apps where your cluster has a registry to represent that top level app. And then you unfurl it from there. And the of apps are different platform tools, different application tools, et cetera. Here we're looking at what a production representation in GitOps might look like. We have a handful of different microservices. We have a front end, we have a Golang backend, we have a Node.js backend. And each one of these, if we were to look at it, they're just pointing to the same GitOps repository, to the same directory, just one subdirectory deeper. So if we go back to production and go one directory deeper, here's the chart. The chart just says, hey, I want to have this particular application delivered. And here's the values YAML for that instance, that production instance of that app that we build on the platform. These are all the overrides. And this, just having this content in GitOps and registered the way that Kubefirst registers your application sets, that's how you get your application in your cluster. So let's take a look at that application in the cluster. I was describing, and let me log in. We use HashiCorp Vault as a login method for all of the platform tools, Argo CD, Argo workflows, whatever UIs we may have. So I'm going to log in with Vault, and this is the Argo CD experience for administrators. So let's bring up production. And here, in fact, let me go one step back and go back to the registry. And we're going to show that this registry right here is that root level app of apps that we register with the cluster. And this registry includes in this Git repository instruction to say, hey, we need to have a production app of apps. And the production app of apps says, hey, I need to have these 3 applications. These are the 3 same applications that we were looking at in this production folder in the Git repository. And these 2, because of the power of Argo CD, are just intertwined with each other. And whatever the state is in the main branch of this GitOps repository is what Argo CD is going to try to honor and enforce in your Kubernetes cluster. So as a result, if we looked at like the Metaphor front-end application here, and in fact, let me do, this is fine actually. So the Metaphor front-end application, I'm going to go and let me pull up a terminal and Kubens to production and kget deploy. And here's my Metaphor front-end production deployment. Let's see what happens when we just delete deployment. Metaphor front-end production. So when I hit enter here,
whoa.
I know, it's a really bad thing to do. This is a production application.
Sorry, I had to.
Never apologize. I love it. So I just deleted a production app. This happens to be just like a demonstration application. But imagine for a second that I'm an admin at your company, and that's a real production application at your company. By GitOpsing it, I deleted in terminal. I did a script ops, a click ops operation. And I said that I want to delete something that I do not want to delete. That's a disaster recovery scenario. But because it's registered with GitOps, I can't get rid of it. GitOps is always running. It's always monitoring the desired state. It's always monitoring the actual state. When there's a delta between the 2, it works immediately to try to reconcile that delta. So here we go again. I'm going to delete it again. There it goes. And now it's coming right back. Right. And I can't express enough how powerful it is to have that level of automation with no scripting. We don't have some cron job running and monitoring and making sure that everything, this is just native Argo CD working against a carefully put together GitOps repository so that the entire state of your cluster is recoverable. Now,
so it's really because everything is in GitHub. So like if I really want to like remove the application and delete the application from production, I would need to like change my configuration, my cluster configuration in GitOps repo, and Argo CD will follow up and will remove or stop that application from running.
That's exactly right. Let's take a look. In fact, I can see that I ran out of certs in production. Let me go down to development. I've been doing a little too much disaster recovery and preparation. So down here in development, let's switch gears. So let me Kubens to development. And when we so let's take a look at the configurations for how these values are getting into the application. So we've already shown that if you get rid of an application, GitOps is just going to bring it right back. And some of the values that your application needs to run are secrets, but your secrets are not in your Git repository on the Kubefirst platform. We keep them in HashiCorp Vault, and we have a really thorough disaster recovery setup that we've established with HashiCorp Vault on the Kubefirst platform. So let's take a look at that. First, let's dive into Vault and show you what secrets look like in HashiCorp Vault. So we'll start you out with this secrets key value store. It's a V2 HashiCorp Vault KB store. And if we look at development, for example, here's this Metaphor application. We can take a look at it. It just has super simple value. It's not actually sensitive because this is a demonstration. And you can see that it's been set to development secret 1 and development secret 2. Now, when we need to get a new value for a secret, let's say that this was not a fake secret, this was like an actual real sensitive value that your application needed, like to connect to a database or to connect to Docker Hub or to connect to whatever you need to connect to. In order to update this secret in your application, all you would have to do is go to HashiCorp Vault and change the secret to whatever we like. We'll call this, let's do demo secret 1 and demo secret 2. So when I save this, if we take a look in Argo CD, and let's switch from production to development.
And just for people to know, the Metaphor application is just a demo application we created to show like the feature of Kubefirst, but like everything we do, it's available on GitHub. You know, it's part of like when you use Kubefirst to deploy a cluster, it's going to be part of it as a demo application, but you can still go if you want to play a little more with it and see how it's working. You can go on GitHub, and we have the Metaphor app. It's open source there, and just go there and have fun.
Stop guessing URLs. Thank you, Fred. So here we can see this external secret object that's been defined as part of the Metaphor application. If we took a look at the external secret, we could look at it in this format. We could also look at it in Metaphor itself. So if we went to not Atlantis, sorry about that. If we went to Metaphor here, you can see that there's a charts Metaphor, and the template has an external secrets YAML file. And this is the definition of how secrets work on the Kubefirst platform. If you want to follow this pattern, there's a ton of patterns for secrets management. You can follow any of the different patterns. You could use the sidecar pattern. You could do bank vaults implementation. You could do all these different implementations. Our default opinion for the Kubefirst platform is a very, very frictionless system that leverages HashiCorp Vault so that your secrets are safe. It has a DynamoDB backend with point-in-time recovery so that your secrets are permanently safe. And it also has external secrets operator running in it to provide that shim layer so that your applications don't have a real-time dependency on a secret in HashiCorp Vault and don't require 24/7 uptime of your HashiCorp Vault instance. Here we can see that basically this is just looking at a Vault Secrets backend, and it's trying to pull a secret 1 and a secret 2 out of a particular path. Now, if we look at that same secret in Vault, here you can see that there's a secret 1 and a secret 2. And in Argo CD, you can see that this external secret, if you just stare at this one rectangle for a second, you're going to see that every 10 seconds it's pulsating. And that's because we have the external secrets operator set up to refetch secrets from HashiCorp Vault every 10 seconds. And whenever there's an update, it's going to pull that update into your application and make it available not as an external secret, but as a native Kubernetes secret. And your application can then hydrate that secret into the application as an environment variable and leverage that secret. So the question is, how do you get updates in? And the answer is you don't have to do a thing. All you have to do is change the value in here, demo secret 1. And if you went here, every 10 seconds, this is going to pulse and change the value of the metaphor development secret. And we have this, because we have the deployment set up with Stakehater's reloader, anytime this secret changes, this deployment's going to recognize, hey, something changed. I need to pull a new value into my application space. So let me do a rolling restart of these applications. So one more time, we're going to go here, make a new version called show in Argo. And when we save that, over in Argo, this is going to come through. And now you can see there's a new pod being created. The old pod stays there because it's a rolling deployment. The new one's going to spin up. The load balancer is going to point the traffic to the new one. Then it's going to tear the old one down. Now the old secret with the compromised secret has been dismissed and the application's live. And again, no scripting anywhere. There's no CI pipelines. There's no tricks up our sleeve. There's no cron jobs running anywhere. This is just Argo CD and external secrets trying to give you, alongside with Reloader, it's going to do the full lifecycle process of pulling secrets in, making them available as Kubernetes native secrets. Reloader recognizes, hey, there's a new secret and there's an application watching it. Let's do a rolling restart of the application. The application restarts. When it starts up, it pulls the environment variable from the secret. Now it has a new value. So rather simple architectural setup in order to get values into your applications without any pipelines, without any scripting, full GitOps compliance.
Lazy me like that, but on top of that, like it remove human mistakes, because
That's
like
right.
everything is automated, and I don't make mistakes, never, but like I assume other people does sometime. So yeah, someone somewhere is making mistakes, so it's great that everything is automated for us.
That's right. So let's refresh this user interface for the front end in development. And you can see that this application is actually hitting a back end that has been refreshed, that has new values to provide the front end for these secrets that we're keeping in HashiCorp Vault. All very cool. That one always gets me as like a baby crying instead of a yay. I don't know.
Oh yeah, okay. I need to find another sound.
Yeah,
maybe you prefer this one.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I thought that was too much applause for you, so I used the other one.
So now, if you're interacting with secrets directly in Vault, there's some risk that somebody with access to edit the secret might make a mistake. Like perhaps, for example, I should not have changed this secret to demo show in Argo secret. Maybe it should have been the original value and the information that I thought that I was supposed to be operating on. I just misinterpreted and I made a mistake. And now there's an application that has the wrong value out there. So I need to revert that secret in HashiCorp Vault. So how do we do that? Well, Vault natively has version management on each one of its secrets. So if we look at development metaphor here, you'll see up in the top right corner that it's been keeping track of all of the different versions that we have. And if you wanted to do like a comparison between version 2 and version 3, you can see what the delta was. You can see who changed it through the audit log. But you're able to keep track of like what the edits were to each one of the applications. And if this was a mistake, and really what we should have done is stayed on the version that was in version 1, then we can go back to version 1. I'll show you what those look like, development secret 1 and 2. We're going to create a new version. And it's telling us, hey, wait a sec, you're creating a new version from an old version. Are you sure you want to do that? Yes, we're restoring a secret. We do want to do that. So please and this is now our version 4. Now, because that's version 4, once again, in Argo CD, this external secret's going to recognize when it pulls in. Stakehater Reloader recognizes, hey, this application here is monitoring that secret. So let's do a rolling restart of that application. And as soon as this version is 1 out of 1 ready, I'll be able to refresh my application. There we go. And if I go back to the front end and hit refresh, the secret down here is going to go back to the original secret that we were showing you in the first place. So again, no scripting, no nothing up my sleeve. Now, that's all really cool. And that works well for like probably, honestly, 99% of secret accidents. You can just go to the previous version of the secret and you can restore it. It's very simple. But there are bigger problems that you can have when you have excessive permissions in HashiCorp Vault. So let's say that I'm a full-blown admin in HashiCorp Vault, and I have the ability to permanently delete secrets. I also have the ability to write scripts that can leverage my account and permanently delete secrets. And although nobody on our project ever makes mistakes, this one day I had a cut on my finger, and you know, it was just the cut on my finger's fault that I made a mistake, and I accidentally had the word production instead of development. I know that's a really weird cut on your finger to get all those letters wrong in just the right way, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
That cut hurts.
Yeah. So now let's show what happens when, like, this development metaphor secret, as an example. This is one that you can see our application is absolutely depending on. So let's permanently destroy all versions. In fact, before I do, we're going to have to do a point-in-time recovery anyway in a second, and it takes like an ungodly 6 minutes, and it's terrible for demos. So I'm going to go to Dynamo real quick and take a snapshot of the DynamoDB backend right now and get that process started, so that when we come back around to that in 6 minutes, it'll be sitting there waiting for us with the secrets in exactly the state that they're in right now. So let me show you this. So in DynamoDB, let me back way up. When you go in Amazon to DynamoDB, they're going to drop you in the dashboard page. And then if you go to tables, when you have a Kubefirst installation, there will be this Vault backend, and whatever name you gave your cluster is going to be suffixed to the end of your backend. So if we go in here and you go to backups, you can see that we have point-in-time recovery turned on in the configuration of your DynamoDB backend. What that allows you to do is you can restore from any point in time that this DynamoDB database has existed. So if you're in a scenario where somebody accidentally messed up vaults, the name of the game is figuring out approximately when they did it, and then going to just a little bit further back and restoring from that point in time. Now, I haven't made the mistake that I'm about to make yet, so we're kind of doing Quentin Tarantino a little bit. But I'm going to make a point-in-time recovery from the latest time. If you wanted to specify a specific time, it's just 2 boxes. You fill them in for the date and the time that you want to restore from. I'll do latest, and I'll say, yeah, give me the entire table. And there's one really important detail, which is that you want to leverage a KMS key that is managed by you. When you do a Kubefirst installation, we create, through infrastructure as code in Terraform, we create the KMS key that's encrypting all of your secrets at rest. And it's important when you do a restoration process, if you want to leverage the exact same vault, you have to use the exact same KMS key that we used when we created the Vault instance in the first place, or else it won't be able to read all the secret values off of disk. So here we're just gonna, if there's old ones in there, you can ignore them. The one that is associated with your Vault backend will always have an alias so that it's easy to identify that it's the one for Vault. So we'll click that one and we'll say, they say it might take several hours. It doesn't. I mean, I guess if you had a whole ton of secrets, it might take a good long time. For HashiCorp Vault, it's a pretty slim footprint, but it does take about 6-7 minutes. So I'm going to hit restore here. Oh, I didn't give it a name. I need to give it a name. I'm going to call it, what should I call it? I should call it pretty much whatever it was called. If I go. So we'll go to tables. We'll copy this value. Boop. And let's call it that.
And John, I'm going to let you finish that part because if you're like me, you're not about to do two things at once. But for people that are not used to Vault, I mean, you don't have to use DynamoDB in the back end. Like you could use what's the HashiCorp storage? They have like HashiCorp console, but also you can have like just your Vault cluster, and you would be good to go. But it wouldn't provide the quote unquote protection that and the scenario that we're going to cover right now. Am I right?
That is exactly right. So here, if I hit a hard refresh, you can see that we have this point in time recovery happening. It's currently restoring. So we'll circle back to this in a minute. Let's, now that that's going though, we already know the point in time that we're trying to get back to. So let's go back to Vault and let's get destructive. We're going to go to secret, and this this development metaphor that our application was depending on, we're going to delete it, and we're going to permanently destroy all versions of it. So Vault will no longer keep the version 4, 3, 2, 1. It won't keep anything. It's like it never existed at all.
No, are you sure? You did it.
I did it. I did it. Now we got a big problem, Fred, because I just deleted a secret that an application in our cluster absolutely needs values for. If I went to Metaphor front end right now, you would expect the application to have some problems, right?
I would.
So let's go take a look. And this looks exactly the same way that it looked a second ago with development secret 1 and 2. That's probably because the Kubernetes pod keeps a copy of that secret. So let's go ahead and go to Argo CD and terminate the current version of the application. And you can see, before I do that, you can see down here, external secrets is complaining about something. We'll take a look at that in 1 second. But before doing anything to address external secrets or Vault or anything like that, this is a bad broken state in Vault, and our application, I can delete right here. And it's going to create a new version of the application. And in just a second, it's going to go to 1 out of 1 running. And when it goes to 1 out of 1 running, if I go to Metaphor front end,
it won't work.
But it does still work. Why does it still work? The reason that it still works is because we're leveraging external secrets operator. So external secrets operator, you might recall from the description a minute ago, it's a YAML object that we do keep in GitOps that references the secret that's in Vault and says, hey, I need to have secrets out of Vault, and I need to create a Kubernetes native secret. So the application has a dependency on this. It does not have a dependency on Vault. So right now we're in a circumstance where Vault is down, but our application is still perfectly healthy. Now, in a normal production environment, you would have an SRE team, you would have, a platform team, you would have somebody that had some monitoring to know when external secrets are unable to sync and they get alerted to it. And they have a problem on their hands, and they're about to discover that this guy just hopped into a Vault cluster and deleted the development metaphor secret. They're going to say, Dietz, why'd you do it? Is that what you would say, Fred? What would you say?
Because of you, I was paged like on the Saturday night because production is down. So Good job, John. Good
That's
job.
right. That's right. They would be so salty. Except that we're not in a crisis situation. Even though it is a problem that has to be fixed in HashiCorp Vault, that a secret has been destroyed permanently and we need to get the values of that secret back, the operations team is not in crisis mode because all secrets that the entire platform is using on the Kubefirst platform are leveraging external secrets to get those secrets out of Vault, and they're all able to continue with what's considered the last known good version of the secret. So the last time external secrets was able to reach Vault and pull a secret back, that's the version that stays in Kubernetes where it's safe, right? So with that said, let's take a look at the external secret itself, see what the problem is. It says that the problem is that it couldn't get the secret data from the provider. Well, that makes sense. That gives us the breadcrumb that we need to go into Vault and discover that there's no secret in the development metaphor secret in the secret KB store in HashiCorp Vault. So we have to fix that. Now, this is one of those big secret problems. The small secret problem where you just revert a version and you can stay in UI and it's nice and easy and frictionless. That doesn't take very much work. You saw me do it in about 1 second. But when you have to restore, basically the problem is that we have told Vault proactively that we want to permanently just annihilate this secret. It shouldn't exist at all permanently, and we were wrong. So we have to go back to that backend, that DynamoDB backend, and go to a point in time from before I made that decision, create a restore from that point in time of a new DynamoDB table that has all the values that were in DynamoDB at that point in time. And then we're going to update HashiCorp Vault to leverage that DynamoDB table instead of the original DynamoDB table. And then the secret comes back. And external secrets wakes up and the secrets flow back into the metaphor application and there's no scripting to be had again. So let's take a look at how that process flows. So I'm going to go into AWS and thank goodness the restore process is complete. So because that process is complete, basically there's not much to look at except for the name that you gave it. And if you go back to your GitOps repository, I mentioned before that everything on the platform is somewhere in this GitOps repository, including all of the GitOps configurations themselves. So if we went to Components, Vault, this is all of the application components for how we install HashiCorp Vault to your cluster. So the application YAML has the Helm values that we provide. One of those Helm values is down here. There's this storage DynamoDB, and it has a table name. And we need to update that table name. So I'm just going to edit directly in the screen here and commit directly to main. Fred, no yelling at me. This is a demo.
I was going to say something, but yeah, okay. For the sake of the demo, I'll let you do it.
Thanks, buddy. He's going to let me slide this one time and one time only. So I'm going to restore, or I'm going to change it to this Vault backend, your company IO restore demo, and commit it directly to main because Fred said that was okay. And if we go back to Argo CD now, we're going to go to the registry and refresh. And we're going to go to Vault. Refresh here. I don't have to click refresh. There's a poll that happens automatically, but it takes anywhere from 0 to 3 minutes. So I'm just expediting that process with these refresh clicks to wake it up and make it look now. And if we go to the application here, we'll refresh at that layer. And this is going to bring in the new metadata that Vault is supposed to be configured with HashiCorp, with the restored version of the DynamoDB backend. We'll wait for that refresh to finish before I recycle the 3 Vault pods. And I don't know how long I want to wait. It usually only takes a
And the thing with that, John, is that people can say like, "Hey, nobody's stupid enough to delete like the old secrets." And first, the cynical person in me would be, "Don't be so sure," but it can be really just a mistake, like when you use the CLI or you automate stuff with the API, and basically instead of like testing in pre-prod or developer environment, like I don't know, you screw something in prods. So the thing is that congratulations, that never happened to you, but it doesn't mean that it won't happen in the future. And this is the kind of thing where like you better have it, because if it happened, you're gonna be really sorry that you don't have any processes like to recover your secrets. So it's the kind of thing that like it's you don't need it until you need it.
That's right. That's right. So if I'm up in HashiCorp Vault right now, you can see that I still don't have a development secret. And the reason for that is because Vault runs as a stateful set, and until it loses its leader, it won't check back in to check the configurations to attach itself to that new DynamoDB backend and hook into it. So in order to shake that rigidness out, basically all you have to do is force Vault to lose quorum, which in a terminal is really easy to do. You really just have to delete that stateful set. If you hop in Argo CD, honestly, you can just like delete all three of these in quick succession. And that'll be enough for it to lose leader and wake itself back up and check back in against the source. And then it's going to say, oh, okay, I need a new leader. The leader is going to go through the initialization process. It's going to connect itself to the back end. As long as the KMS key is sound, it's going to be able to restore all of those secrets. Now, after you do that process, if you were to just go back to Vault and hit refresh, it's going to throw an error at you. Oh, it actually didn't. That's
Or
neat.
it's going to work.
Yeah, I thought that it was going to throw an error about my session. I guess, oh, it's because my backup probably had a session that's still good. But if that was an old enough point in time recovery, just know that if Vault throws an error at you, all you have to do is log out, log back in fresh. You'll get a clean session against the brand new restored DynamoDB backend, and you'll be back on your way. So you can see that by losing quorum and electing a new leader, checking back in with Dynamo, pulling the configuration back in, now all of a sudden we have this development secret in exactly the same form that we had it when we took that point in time recovery. That's fantastic. Let's go back over to Argo CD now. Check in on our buddy Metaphor. Metaphor development has a new external secret. There's no longer a broken heart here. External secrets is happy. That means that the Metaphor development secret has been refreshed, and our deployments, if there was a delta between that restored secret and what was just there, then it would cause the deployment to restart, just to show that all the scaffolding is still nice and in place. We're going to change this to 100 and save it. And when we do that over here in Argo CD, the external secret's going to pick it up. Stakeator's reloader recognizes that there's a new secret. It does a rolling restart of the pod. New one's coming up. It's about to hit 1 out of 1. As soon as it hits 1 out of 1, we'll go back over to the Metaphor front end, hit refresh, and boom, we got our new restored secrets. Everybody's happy again. Fred says to me, hey, Dietz, listen, I know it's the middle of the night, but geez, that was just so easy and frictionless. I feel like we didn't have a full operation. Maybe we should have a beer together. I don't know.
Yeah. I will definitely say that if you wake me up in the middle of the night. But I appreciate, though, that I can go back to sleep really quickly. And people at home, don't choose secrets like that. Make them better. So don't do this at home, kids.
So, Fred, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to demonstrate today. Again, just as a quick recap, we did some secrets in GitOps using the external secret type that comes with the external secrets operator to protect your applications from problems that happen in Vault, operational problems, whatever. Vault went down, your application stays up, everything's happy. We're using external secrets to pull secrets into your Kubernetes native secret every 10 seconds. We're using Stakeator Reloader to keep an eye on those secrets, and whenever anything changes, to do a safe rolling restart on all the applications that care about that secret's existence. The applications restart. If you make a mistake in Vault, all you have to do is stay in Vault, go to the version restore, and you're able to restore it directly in the user interface. Everything flows out. If you make a permanent mistake in Vault, you still have the protection of the DynamoDB backend with point-in-time recovery, so you can go back to the point from before a bad decision was made, restore it, and your system's none the wiser, and it all just refreshes and flows correctly. So if nines are important to you operationally, if you work for an SRE team, if you work for an operational team where keeping your application uptime is paramount to your organizational success, buying into GitOps, buying into processes like these are the way to keep your nines high. And they've been proven on the Kubefirst platform for many years. So we hope you check it out. Yeah, I think it was a good show.
Yeah, and the thing with that also, it's more than just like, hey, you need to have things in production and no downtime. It's just like you saw the time it took John. It is because he talked like so much, but like if he was just doing it like in a urgent moment where we need to restore things, it doesn't take time. It doesn't even take like a lot of like technical skill. You just know like where to do the backup and where to restore and the steps to do so. Like even if it's if you're not in an environment where like everything needs to be in production and no downtowns all the time and you're losing millions of dollars because it's down for like 5 minutes, just the fact that you can restore quickly, just the fact that you can do that process quickly, efficiently, and there's a way for you to do that without having to struggle to find like how we're going to restore. Do we have the backup? Do we have everything we need? For that, I think it's totally worth it. So for me, I would say it's good for any type of application you have deploy on a Kubernetes cluster, and obviously you can try to manage those things yourself. But like with Kubefirst, we preach for my town, but we kind do it for you. So that's the cool thing with that. And John, I need to apologize. I know I said bad things about you at the beginning about demoing versus Jared, but I think that honestly you did a great job. So good job on the demo.
That was my very best Jared impression. I hope I'm glad to know I didn't let you down.
Yeah, no, good job. So folks, as I told you at the beginning, we're going to release V2. It's a matter of days, not weeks. So it's coming, it's hot, it's arriving really, really soon. But you can still use Kubefirst right now. You can go on kubefirst.io/download. You have the instruction to do that. If you're on Mac OS and you use Homebrew, you can just say, you can just type brew install Kubefirst and you're good to go. And obviously you can go on GitHub. But with the next release, so actually, sorry about that. With that actual release we have right now, you have access to AWS with GitHub, AWS with self-hosted GitLab, and you can also use local, which we renamed to Key3D with V2, and you can install locally with GitHub. But just to be really clear about that, there is so many more ways for you to use Kubefirst in V2. You're going to be able to do also AWS with GitLab SaaS locally. You will continue to be able to use GitHub with Key3D, but also you're going to be able to use GitLab SaaS. And basically, we had GitLab SaaS support for every type of installation, but we also integrated now. You can deploy on Civo. We're going to have the next live stream. I can give you that. The next live stream, we're going to talk about V2. That's going to be a Kubefirst-centric live stream, but we're going to have guests from Civo who's going to introduce you a little bit to the platform if you don't know it, but that's a great alternative to the usual big three. So try it. Go try Kubefirst right now after that live stream, or wait for V2 and try it and give it a go. What we want and what we usually looking for, and it's true. I mean, some people say it and they really don't want people's feedback, but like we do want people's feedback. So if you have any feedback, please come on our Slack community. The link is twice on the screen, so you're sure you're not gonna miss it. Come talk to us. We have the Helping Hands channel where you can ask any questions. If you find a bug, create an issue, or even if you like, you can even fix the issue, because it's open source. You do PR, and we're gonna be there to help you along the way. We have our blogs, documentation, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, name it. We are everywhere, and we are there to get your feedback. Also, not just about issues. like if you had a great experience, obviously we want to hear about that. We want to hear about that. But also, if you have any recommendation about like what we should do next as a feature, maybe which cloud provider that we should support next, because now with V2 we support AWS local with Key3D and Civo, but I don't want to talk for the rest of it. Actually, I'm going to do it. That's only the beginning. Like, there's so many more cloud platform out there. So in the future, we're going to have more integration with other cloud platforms. So we would like to hear from you what platform, what cloud provider you would like us to work on first. So that can maybe help us to, decide what we're going to do next. And because it seems like now it's part of the live stream, I have a really bad jokes for you. So why? And you probably know it, but I don't know. It's just like I'm 5 years old, so let me do this. Why do programmers prefer dark mode?
Why do programmers prefer dark mode, Fred?
It's because lights attracts bugs. That is so bad. So bad, but I think it's part of my guilty pleasure now. So any last word to the viewers or people going to watch the replay of the video, John?
No, I just want to reiterate how excited we are about V2 coming out. It's significantly better user experience, significantly better stability and guidance to the user, better docs, better screens, better an overhaul of Metaphor, an overhaul of console. It's all just coming together really nicely. Appreciate everyone's patience while we cross T's and dot I's getting it ready, but it's going to be just a full reboot. So we're really excited about what we're going to be throwing down with V2.
And that is exciting, but if you don't care about that and you're already happy with the actual Kubefirst version you have, at least we're going to have a new documentation platform who has dark mode. So, if you don't care about the rest, at least you're going to have dark mode on the documentation. So what can you ask more than that?
That's right.
On that note, I wish everybody a good rest of the day and a good weekend, because it's coming soon. And we're going to see you in 2 weeks. Have a good one.